pain does not last forever. And this is one thing that I've been talking about to a lot of people, actually, the past couple weeks. I know last week's podcast was a little rougher. I guess you could say a little more, not woe is me-er, but yeah, like woe is me-er. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to have that every once in a while. But for you to carry it on, that's where the problems may or will occur. Honestly, for me, it carried on for a long time. You know, for me to think about, man, how much I've gone through in the past, I would say probably 2 years now, it's complete turnaround. But it doesn't mean like you're going to be perfect, right? It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a hard time. It doesn't mean you're going to have any troubles or complications, because it's life. Like, it's going to happen. Right? The title of this podcast for episode 87 is It Doesn't Last Forever, even though it feels like it will. Even though it will feel like it's never going to end. And the person that texted me kind of feels like she's in a dark black cloud. And I think we all know what that feels like, to be in a black cloud, to not be who we used to be or who we think we can be. But there's just this mist, this heaviness, right? Like having, my one friend told me, like, anxiety and ADHD is like wearing a heavy, wet blanket, right? And just having that blanket where you have that inability to move, the inability to feel differently, and the inability to want to do anything to be better. You have every single thought of wanting to be better. Right, this has got to end soon. I can be better this. I know I'm better than this. But that black cloud or that wet blanket just keeps you still. It keeps you down. And honestly, there's nothing more painful than that. Nothing. I mean, of course, falling off a building, breaking your leg, still surviving, I'm sure that fucking hurts, right? A shark bite, probably pretty painful. But rightfully so, something happened physically for that pain, and this one's a mental one, right? This one's just that battle between you and you, right? The person that's been traumatized, or the person that has gone through something, if you didn't know what that means, versus the person that's trying to get out. And that emotional pain that comes with it is just, it's devastating. And I would like to say, more so for high-level people, which means people that have achieved more in life prior, like marathon runners or bodybuilders that have won, or wrestlers that have anything high level. You know, I was related to sports. I'm sure there's other high-level stuff like chess champions, or I don't know. Maybe you were in a band that was very successful, no longer in a band, right? You had that high life, and now you come down from it. And you're in that dark cloud, that depression. And depression, man, it's something that you don't and will never understand until you get it. There's a big difference between feeling and being depressed, where it's like you watched a sad movie and now it's sad, and now you carry on to be sad for the next 24 hours. That's depressed. Or like something wrong happened to you and you know, you feel bad for a couple days. That's depressed. Depression, so much different. It's like something that just takes over your body. Right? It takes over your mind. It takes over the way you want to feel, you want to think, and then it starts to convince you that that's who you are now. You know how painful that is to go through? That you have no idea why you feel this way? No, there's no trigger for you to feel this way, to wake up and feel like this. There was no reason. There's no reason. Except for a chemical imbalance that's happening inside your body. And you think it's you. You know, you think it's your fault. I could get out of this. I put myself here. It's all these situations that did it. Nah, man. Your body's choosing to protect itself because it really doesn't want to feel that pain you went through again. So it's going to change it. I don't know if this is actually true, but this is what I'm saying in my head because this is what it felt like to me. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm not someone that is qualified to talk about this. But you know what? I do. because I've been through it. And as much as a doctor helps and as much as a practitioner helps, yes, perfect. You have to go legally, for sure. I would always go to them. But it doesn't mean you can't listen to someone else's stories. Right? And people say that to me in the comments. I get some messages like, you're not a doctor. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know who the fuck I think I am? Someone that's lived through it. And I would honestly rather listen to someone that has lived through it than just get prescribed some medicine. And I'm not saying medicine's bad, because it helped me get through it. Right? But sometimes you need that little... Sometimes you need the crutch, right? Sometimes you need the starting stone. Someone to listen to, that you can relate to. Someone that can maybe, in their experience, help you in a way that someone else can't. And just from that story or listening to their experience, you find out more about yourself. And now you seek more professional help and take that bigger step. Because most of us don't do shit about it. What do? Nothing. We sit down and we allow the cloud to take over us. We don't fight anymore. Because we think this is who we're becoming. But it's not. And that's what I have to convince the people that I'm texting, is that it's not forever. And everyone used to tell me this shit. People will tell me, not everyone, right? People will tell me this shit. Technically, if it was everyone, I'd tell everyone to go shut the fuck up. But if people have told me it's not going to be forever. And I didn't believe them. I didn't want to believe them. But you know what? I'm glad they kept at least trying to tell me that. At least letting me know that there is some light. Right? There's going to be a win at the end of this. And I won. I'd like to say that I won. Last week, I was about, 60% of feeling good. I really wasn't. My body's killing me. And you know what? It still does. But it doesn't mean it's going to stop me from doing anything. Like when I made that episode last week, I'm not saying that, oh my God, I can't do this. And no, motherfucker, that's how I felt that day. Think I'm going to give you the whole week in one fucking episode? No, one day felt like shit. And it happened to be on the Wednesday of the podcast day. So I don't hide my emotions, my feelings. I tell you how I feel. And I tell you how it is for me. So hopefully what it is that I feel and I experience, I can now share with you guys, girls, people, and hopefully help guide you in a way that you just want to be. But the pain, man, nothing is worse than waking up and trying to go through a routine that you've done for so many years of your life. And now finally, not wanting to, not being able to, not even being capable of performing anything merely as close to what you used to. And when you don't, you feel like garbage. You feel like a piece of shit. You feel like so unworthy to even be on this earth and be alive, and like you're a waste. That's what it feels like, but it's not what it is. Having depression or anxiety, there's no words. I mean, there's a lot of words that can describe it, but you cannot understand how people feel until you actually go through it. And God, I hope you never do. I hope there's people that have never ever gone through any of this. But maybe if it's someone that you're trying to help out of it, maybe understand that your voice is important, although it may not feel like it is. Your consistent checking up on them is important, even though it doesn't feel like it is. You picking up the phone to call and talk to them and them just ignoring your text messages is not a personal thing. It's needed. It's what they really want. But the black cloud makes them believe that it isn't important to respond back. Because why should you care about us? Why should you care about me? If I don't care about me, then why should you care about me? And that's where people start to lose them. Because people like you who may be helping them take it personal. You take all the stuff that's happening personal, and now it's about you now, right? This is not worth it because no, you're doing the right thing. Because this whole situation is about them. And by you being there and helping them through it and constantly just contacting them, not too much, but every now and then, letting them know that you're there, man. There's nothing better than that type of support. I'm going to take a quick break. So I was thinking about it, right? And I looked up, not from me, this is from professionals. And I want to see how spot on I am on some of the stuff that I talk about. So this one, I guess, can go for anyone, right? And you could apply this to a friend or a family member. But what I wrote was tips that can help your child while in depression, right? And there's 10 tips here that we can go through. I'll elaborate on some, but I'm not going to elaborate on all of them. Some of them are pretty plain and simple, right? Listen to them. Let your child know that they're Take 25. Listen to them. Let your child know you are there for them and that you're willing to listen without judgment. Pretty plain and simple. Right? Opening up lines of communication, make sure they know and let them know that make them comfortable to feel that they trust you enough to listen without you jumping in, which is very hard to do. I don't know if you've ever done it, but trying to listen to someone without saying what you think they should do is very hard. Right? Just sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen. That's how I say it. Like sometimes I don't want someone to tell me what to do. Sometimes I just want someone to listen to me babble and talk about whatever it is I'm talking about. And sooner or later, a gem pops out. But if you interfere with a suggestion, or this is what I think you should do, guess what happens? They close back up. Just saying. Just saying. Number 2, encourage them to express their feelings. Encourage your child to talk about what they're going through and how they're feeling. Kind of part 1 and part 2 are the same, right? Get them professional help. Depression is a serious issue, and seeking the help of a mental professional is important. I 100% agree with that. I agree. It doesn't mean you force them to go. I remember when I first was medicated, I was forced to go. It was either I go or I'm out, because that's how depressed I was back then. That's how not stable I was back then. Where it was like, nope, they took me there, and then they forced these things in. And did it help? No, actually, it really didn't. I went through so many different side effects. I still drank on top of medication, so I was just drinking and taking medicine and then just blacking out. That's it. I remember I had my high school reunion. I don't remember one thing about it. I woke up in a hotel room somewhere. I don't remember anything. I remember stepping in there, and it was like cheap alcohol. I went to my reunion, by the way, and I had slick back hair. That's it. Other than that, I was in a hotel with a balcony when I woke up the next day. So, yeah. Show. Just saying. 2, get them professional help. Number 3, create a routine. A structured routine can help reduce feelings of stress and anxiety and promote feelings of stability and security. I agree with that. Getting them on a type of routine where they wake up the same time every day, get up and do this, go to school. After school, they have this. Just keep them busy, right? Keep them out of their head. Keep them out of the blanket. It doesn't mean you fight them when they're inside the blanket, but keeping them in some type of routine can help, for sure, in depression. This is adults, too. This is not just for kids. Limit screen time. Encourage your child to limit their use of technology and engage in other activities, such as reading, drawing, and spending time outside. Agreed. They're always on, not because like, oh my God, you kids are always on your phone. No, it's because they feel left out. Right? When they're on their phone the whole time, obviously we understand what social media does. What do you think your kid's doing on the phone? Fucking writing literature? You think there's writing down a Pulitzer Prize formula? No, they're on fucking social media where they feel less than. So taking them away from that even though it may be their friends, will help them feel better because they're not going to keep wanting that rush of serotonin. Sure, in the beginning, it's going to feel worse, right? But the more you limit it, the more the body kind of gets a break from that serotonin rush. Pretty much you're just balancing their hormones, right? And if you want to talk about that more, you let me know. Comment up. We'll fucking anything you want to talk about, comment and let me know so we can talk more about whatever this is. Figure it out. Get some professionals. I got a therapist coming on. What's up? He'll be on. Don't worry about it. Coming soon. Support their interests. Encourage your child to pursue activities they enjoy, such as playing sports, playing music, and arts and crafts. Support them. Don't force them. It's very hard. If they're in a depressive state, I guess I don't want to say don't do that, right? Because if they're willing to and want to play, well then yeah, encourage them to get back out there. But who knows how deep of a depression they may be in where they already quit and fell off. And maybe that's when you listen to them and open up lines of communication to where you can be empathetic and listen to what they have to say. Why do they not want to play baseball this week? Why do they not want to do this? Versus like, you're so good, you should do it. This is why we do things, because we're good at it. Shut up. They don't care. They feel terrible right now. Something happened. Whether it's a change, a death, a traumatic incident, no one knows. Trauma is different for everybody. Man, trauma's different for everybody. It's fucking nuts. We're not the ones that dictate what they can or should do, Just be the ear, and hopefully they're willing to cooperate with it. Obviously, if they're in a really bad position where you're really scared for them, of course, you have to do what you have to do. Let me get that out. That was a thought, right? I needed to be fucking locked up. Because if I wasn't locked up, I would have done something. 100%. There's no taking me out of how deep I was. And I want people to understand that too. Like, no one knows how much you are hurting just by the way you look. No one knows what you're going through just by the way you carry yourself. If I didn't go to the hospital that day, I would have done it some other day. No doubt in my mind. That's why I always say I'm grateful for that day. Sorry. Be positive. Try and create positive and supportive environments at home and focus on your child's strengths and accomplishments. Agreed. The more positivity that they are around, the better it is for them. Not saying they want to hear it, not saying they're going to listen to it, but at least showcasing things that they should be or can be positive about is very important. Imagine coming home and you're just complaining about shit and you're talking about how you want to kill yourself because work was bad and this and that, and now your kids are listening to it. Well, then now it's okay for them to say it. Right? And they're just going to mimic everything you're saying. If you come home and they go, oh my God, what a day. Me. Versus it should be them. How's your day? Oh yeah, cool. Anything special happened today? Give them alternatives. Instead of open and ended questions, maybe give them alternatives. Right? Did anything great happen? Anything cool happen in school today between you and XYZ? A little more specific. Maybe you get a better answer that way than just how was your day? Because I'll just be fine. I'm sure every teenager says that too. It's good, fine, fire. They don't say that. Well, we're back because the camera shut off. As usual, it's cool. Number 9, avoid criticism. Avoid criticizing, blaming your child for the depression, and this can make the situation worse. Yeah, if you're doing that, not really that cool, right? If you don't criticize your child or the person that it's their fault that they're depressed because of XYZ. It's oh, you did it to yourself. This is what happened to you, and that's why this is happening now. Is that really nice? Not sure. Maybe they have been at fault for it. Maybe there's something they have done. But maybe it's something called forgiveness, especially right now, to help them out of this, and then maybe visit that later on when the child is out of it. Think about it that way. Instead of attacking and criticizing and throwing them underneath a bus that they're already underneath, right? They wish you would just run them over and over again, probably. Don't run them over. Pick them up, put them on a sidewalk, and talk to them. Try not to criticize and be critical of what they're doing or what they're going through, or judging them on them not wanting to dress up or not put makeup on or not do their hair and not play sports. Find out why. Understanding is key in this situation. And understanding what someone goes through is even more important, as difficult as it may be. It's not saying it's easy. It's definitely hard to do so. I can imagine what people have gone through when they were trying to help me out. It's kind of devastating at times because I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to text people back. I didn't want to call you, even if you called me and tried. It was almost like it was fucking annoying. But I wasn't at any place where I was presently or where I am now. So it's kind of weird, right? It's a tough thing to do, especially when you're not going to get any, satisfaction out of it, right? Usually you want to call someone, text them, hopefully they feel better. Then you doing that, and now they feel better. Now selfishly you go, yeah, I made them feel better. But that's not the case right now. The case just doing the things you need to do to support them so they can feel better without you feeling better that they feel better. Make sense? It did to me, so hopefully it did to you. Number 10, most importantly, take care of yourself. Taking care of your own mental and physical health can help you to be better support for your child or persons. I keep saying child, but it's anybody. If you don't put your own mask on first, you can't help anybody. And we talk about this in 1,000 videos and 1,000 podcasts because it's true, right? If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy with the way you are, you look, you feel, you're not going to help anyone. You're just going to join them in the gutter. Right? So it's important for you to get out and do your thing and find your positivity and find your light and find your routine and find your sequence. And when you have that energy, you can pass that energy on. But if you have the energy of like, fuck this is terrible, I feel like shit, oh my God. And then shit hangs out with shit. And guess what happens? They become diarrhea. And that's it. Shit hangs out with shit. And then you become diarrhea. That should be a shirt. Probably not. Don't make it a shirt. Please don't anyone ever make that a shirt. That would be tight. Even if that shirt wouldn't even go well in Spencer's. Okay. If you don't know what Spencer's is that crazy store in the mall. If you guys still go to the mall. That has shirts and wacky doodahs. Anyway. Taking care of yourself is very important, regardless, right? That's why we're here. We're trying to help ourselves be better. We're trying to help ourselves understand more. You're trying to help yourselves do something. Maybe just listen to me. It's something about me just makes you want to do something. I don't know. Maybe once it makes you depressed. I'm sorry if it does. But at the same time, let's put our own mask on first. Because that's one thing I'm learning very strongly these days, is that I'm no one, and I can help no one if I'm not helped first. And that's very true. And I'll see you guys later. Till next time. Episode 87. Patreon shout out to everyone. Sean C., thank you for becoming a patron. Topanga, thank you for being the invisible patron. Bo, thank you. I couldn't think of another name to mask that up. So thank you for being a patron. And everyone else that's a patron, that always is, always has been, never was, never will be. Always was, always will, whatever. Thank you guys. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And if you are interested in becoming a patron, supporting the channel podcast, patreon.com/Jersey to Vegas. Come down, check out. $5. You get $5 a month. It's a month. That's not even a coffee anymore. Coffee's more expensive than that unless you get a black. Who gets a black anyway? I do. Because I'm on a budget. And then I steal all the Splendas out of the store. And then I steal all the Stevias and the Raws. So every time I buy one coffee, if I do, I walk out with $17 worth of sugar. So I made out. And I won. Okay, see you guys later. Peace out.